Let's start with covalent bond. So covalent bond is a stronger bond and its energy level is so high. For the formation as well as for the breakdown of covalent bond, we need little high amount of energy when compared to other non-covalent interaction. Here in case of covalent bond, equal sharing of electrons takes place between two atoms so that it forms a particular molecule. And here let's say for an example, H2, Cl2, O2 or different kinds of atoms which can also combine to form a covalent bond in which we produce water molecule, ammonia, methane, ethane and all. And here there are different properties of covalent bonds which confer to the molecule where you have established a new covalent bond. Covalent bonding does not result in the formation of new electron. It is just only the sharing of electron between those two atoms. So it can be a single pair of electron or it can be a double or it can be a triple pair of electron. So these are very stronger bonds which is existing between the atom when compared to ionic interactions as well as the non-covalent interaction. The energy of a normal covalent bond is approximately 80 kilocalories per mole. The covalent bonds rarely break spontaneously after it is formed. Otherwise, it doesn't break spontaneously until and unless we provide some amount of energy and certain enzymes. Most of the covalent compounds having covalent bonds which exhibit relatively lower melting point and boiling points. So these are the different properties of particular compound which possesses the covalent bond. Apart from that, this covalent bond also usually will have lower enthalpies of vaporization and fusion. Covalent compounds are not soluble in water, usually does not get dissolved in water. And to have the covalent bond, we need to know the octet rule. So according to the octet rule, the valence electron, the valence shell should have around 8 electrons. So the outermost valence shell should have 8 electrons in order to attain stable configuration. In case it does not have stable configuration, the atom tend to share the electrons to make it more stable in existence. So in order to attain the stability, this kind of sharing of electron will be taking place, and this sharing of electron will form a covalent bond. So thus the covalent bond, once if it is formed, the particular molecule will become highly stable. So this stability is achieved by mutual sharing of electron, thus the covalent bond is usually formed. And here we have different types of covalent bonds. We have single covalent bond, double covalent bond, triple covalent bond. So based on the number of electron pairs which are shared between those two atoms, which confers whether you get single covalent bond or double covalent bond or triple covalent bond. In case if only one pair of electron is shared, we get only single covalent bond. So as in case of hydrochloride, HCl, we have here the mutual sharing of electron according to the octet rule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So hydrogen atom has one electron which is shared along with the chlorine atom. So each of the atoms shares only one electron and it attains the stability. So this stability will be attained by the mutual sharing of one electron from hydrogen, one electron from chloride, so that those two will mutually share to form a single bond. Since only one electron pair is shared, we get a single bond. So here the single covalent bond arises. In case of the double covalent bond, here we'll share two pairs of electrons so that we get double covalent bond. And here as we see in the diagram, so those two lines denotes, so each line denotes one electron pair. Since two lines are there, two electron pairs are shared. In case of triple covalent bond, three pairs of electrons are shared. So as in case of nitrogen molecule, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this molecule also has 8 electrons in the outermost shell, and this atom also will have. So overall, if we consider molecule, both the atoms will have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. So since each of the pairing or paired electrons will contribute for a single bond, here since we have three pairs of electrons which are shared between one nitrogen atom and the other nitrogen atom, we get triple bond. So this triple bond will be formed. So based on the number of electron pairs which are shared between the atoms, single bond, double bond, triple bond will be conferred to the covalent bond. And again, if we talk about the polarity of the covalent bond, the polarity of the covalent bond will arise because of unequal sharing of electrons. So already we have seen that the covalent bond will have the mutual sharing of electrons between the atoms, whereas here the polarity in the covalent bond which will be arise because of unequal sharing of electrons. So this unequal sharing of electrons will arise because of the electronegativity of the atom. So out of two atoms, if one atom is electronegative in nature, that particular electronegative atom will tend to pull the electron towards itself. So the pulling of electron towards the electronegative atom will make the particular electronegative atom to become negatively charged, and the electrons which is donated by the other atom, again it becomes positively charged. So that the electronegative difference between the atoms is greater than 0 or less than 2. So between this range only the electronegativity difference which will be existing, and that difference contribute for the polarity of covalent bond. So as a result, the shared pair of electrons will be closer to one atom, especially which is more electronegative in nature. That is, hydrogen atom interacts with electronegative fluorine, hydrogen or oxygen. So the fluorine, hydrogen, oxygen will become more electronegative atom. The electrons will move towards those atoms. So that confers the polarity of the covalent bond. And here we have a non-polar covalent bond also. In this non-polar covalent bond, there will be equal sharing of electron between the atoms. So as we stated, the covalent bond will be conferring the equal sharing of electrons. So here also it happens that the equal sharing of electron is happening, and here the electronegativity difference between those two atoms will be 0. So if the electronegativity between two atoms, if it is 0, thus there will not be having any charge difference between the atoms, and the particular covalent bond becomes non-polar in nature. So it occurs wherever the combining atoms have similar electron affinity. So in case of your diatomic elements, if those are having the same electron affinity atom which is combining to form a molecule, there the electronegativity difference between the atoms will become 0. There comes our non-polar covalent bond. Let's start with the valence bond theory. In valence bond theory, the overlapping of two atomic orbitals to form a covalent bond. So this will be stated in the valence bond theory. So in case of valence bond theory, we have different postulates. So those postulates will frame the overall theory. According to the VBT theory, a covalent bond is formed by overlapping of half-filled valence atomic orbitals of two different atoms, which means two half-filled valence electron will be there, one from each of the atoms. The electrons in the overlapping orbitals get paired and confined to two nuclei of two atoms. The electron density between two bonded atoms increases due to overlapping. This confers the stability to the molecule. The greater the extent of overlapping, the stronger is the bond formed. The direction of covalent bond is along the region of overlapping of atomic orbitals. That is, covalent bond is didirectional in nature. There are two types of covalent bond which is existing. One we call it as sigma bond, the other one we call it as pi bond, and sigma bond will be formed between those s orbitals which will have the direct head-to-head interaction. If the orbital just gets overlapped head-to-head, we call it as a sigma bond, and always the sigma bond will be stronger and it will have cylindrical in symmetry. So here s orbital with the other s orbital to fuse to have the head-to-head interaction, so that we get sigma ss bond, and this bond is just free to rotate. The freedom of rotation around the sigma bond is easy, so that the carbon-carbon atom can easily rotate. The next bond is a pi bond. So this pi bond interaction will happen between the p orbitals, and here the interaction is sidewise overlapping. So the sidewise overlapping will be taking place in case of your pi bond. In case of sidewise overlapping, you can see the p orbital side and the p orbital side of the other atom, it just overlaps, and here the freedom of rotation along the axis is prohibited. So in case of sigma bond, we have easy head-to-head sigma rotation, whereas in the pi bond, since the sidewise overlapping happens, we don't have any freedom of rotation. Thank you.